Hello everyone, my name is Aditya Ajmera, and in this video we are going to discuss a very important topic from the modern Indian history, and this is the topic called land revenue policies during the Britishers' time. So I'm going to discuss the first act which was introduced by the Britishers to change the land revenue policies and to reform the revenues so that Britishers can extract as much revenue as they can from the farmers. So the first revenue system was introduced in the form of Permanent Settlement Act. It was introduced in the year of 1793, and during that time the Governor General of India was Lord So the Governor General of British India, or we can say the East India Company at that time, was Lord Cornwallis. So if we talk about the land revenue system before the Britishers, so before the Britishers there were Mughals. So on the top we had Emperor, then comes the Diwan, then Zamindars, and at the bottom there were peasants. So Zamindars used to collect revenue, collect the tax from peasants in the name of emperor, and they were supervised by the Diwan. So this was the revenue system during the Mughals. So this Permanent Settlement Act actually changed this revenue system. Permanent, so who are going to settle permanently? These were the Zamindars. So after the Battle of Plassey, the political situation in the Bengal region was changing, and at the 1793 this new system was introduced, in which the British East India Company was at the top, then comes the Zamindars, and at the last we had peasants. Zamindars used to collect tax from the peasants in the name of Britishers. This was the system. But what is the difference between Zamindars here and Zamindars here? At here, Zamindars were only tax collectors. But in this time, Zamindars not only have power to collect tax, but they had hereditary rights over the land. Britishers distributed all the lands to the different Zamindars, and these Zamindars had the hereditary rights. They are the owners of those lands. They are the permanent settlers of these lands. So they had hereditary rights to collect the revenue from those peasants. So this was the first clause of the Permanent Settlement Act. So now we are going to discuss the features of the Permanent Settlement Act 1793. So the first feature was the tax will be collected from the peasants up to 10 upon 11. That means 10th part of 11. It is around 89% of the total produce will be collected by the Zamindars from the peasants. So 89% in the form of produce, not cash but produce. So these peasants have to give the tax to the Zamindars, and the remaining part, so remaining part is 1 by 11. This part is taken by the Zamindars, and then Zamindar will take some part from this 1 by 11, and then rest part will be given to the peasants. So this was the situation during the Permanent Settlement Act. It is like around 100 bags of rice is grown in the area, in which 89 bags will be collected by the Britishers, and rest all 11 bags the zamindar and the peasants will compromise with the 11 bags. So this was the system during the Permanent Settlement Act. We had another features. The next feature was the patta system. Although this system was not extensively came in tangible form, patta system basically it is the lease agreement which was given by the zamindar to the peasants, and if the peasant will take this lease agreement and then they will start cultivation. So this was the second feature. And the third feature, if we talk about the act, that it had the fixed revenue. Fixed revenue stream generated by the Britishers. They thought that they will get the fixed revenue from the zamindars, and if the zamindars want to raise their income, they will innovate the agriculture. They will bring some new innovations in the agriculture system, like in the irrigation, drainage system, or the development of land. But this was not practically done by the zamindars. Like the Britishers have only motive to extract the revenue, same zamindars also had the motive to extract the revenue from the peasants. So this was the next feature, fixed revenue. Then comes the another feature, sunset clause. Basically this was not introduced by the Britishers, it was existed before the Britishers. So before the Britishers there were a person called Murshid Quli Khan. He introduced the sunset clause in the revenue system in the Bengal region. Murshid Quli Khan, earlier he was called as Kartalab Khan, who was appointed as the revenue officer by the Aurangzeb, and he introduced the sunset clause. Later the Britishers adopted the same system, sunset clause, and he bring the sunset clause, and this means that at the annually when the sun will set, the revenue must come to the Britishers. If the zamindars were not able to